My favorite part of farming is the unpredictability, and while it can be aggravating at times, it's never the same day twice. You never know what you're going to come up with. You can have a plan, but that plan can get changed, whether it's breakdowns, whether it's weather, who knows what is behind the next door. So it's always interesting, it's always intriguing, and at times it can get nerve-wracking, but it at least keeps you on your toes and energized, because it's like, okay, what's the next challenge coming my way? Irish Acres started off as my parents' farm, Irvin and Cheryl Sinkula. They bought this original farmstead here in 1964. So I did a one-year tech at Lakeshore Technical College back in long time ago. And graduated that, the one-year dairy herd management program. So I got a base knowledge from there. Then I learned a lot, because when I first came out of high school, I managed the cattle end and employees. My dad took care of equipment and crops. And that was how we worked it till he retired. And then at that point I had to kind of manage everything. So my specialty is dealing with animals, but because of my dad and our crop nutritionist, I've learned a lot more about crop care and crop nutrition. So currently we're milking 400 cows with about 50 dry cows at any one time, and we're farming about just over about 1,100 acres of land to feed those animals. A typical daily routine here is never typical for me, because I basically manage and oversee and then take care of a lot of the crops, equipment, and cattle end. So in a typical day will vary anywhere from 5 to 8 a.m. depending on what the schedule is and what I'm doing. So on the weekends I fill in for whether it's our feeder or our herdsperson, the more specialized care. Those are the jobs I fill in for on the weekend. During the week is when I try to get a lot of our field work done, a lot of our cropping done. Animal care here at Irish Acres involves a lot of on-site looking over and just knowledge of the animals. It's kind of like if you have pets, where you can just tell when they're not right. So that is a lot of how we diagnose and find problems. So a couple of unique characteristics on our farm would be basically how we're more family oriented. Usually once you get into a parlor type system, it's usually a lot relied on the labor, but between my parents still involved, myself, and our middle son on the farm, there's a heavy family aspect still at Irish Acres of management and a lot of the hands-on labor. So we have, while we might be considered large because it's a freestall barn and a milking parlor, we get lumped into the large category there. It still is a family farm, which helps give us that small farm mentality. So besides taking care of the farm, a couple organizations I'm heavily involved with, the local Two Creeks Fire Department. I've been on there close to 30 years. And the other one is I'm heavily involved in the Manitowoc County Farm Bureau, and Farm Bureau in general. Currently serving as the president for Manitowoc County Farm Bureau. So that entails monthly meetings and a lot of work on that end, especially when it comes to our busy seasons, whether that's the county fair or breakfast on the farm or our annual meeting, which seem to be spaced out. So it seems like our busy season is anywhere from May through October. The future goals on this farm are kind of up in the air, because while we have the 3 children, 2 for sure are not interested in the farm, and so the question at this point is if the third is even going to be interested in taking over. And so that kind of is, the future is not real set here, because if, myself coming up on 50, if the next generation is looking at taking it over, well, there's no need to look at expanding or gaining. So the futures here are very much up in the air at this point. So any advice I would have for anyone looking in the future of agriculture is definitely get a mentor, get in there. You can go to all the schooling you want, and it's only going to get you so far. I learned more in practical knowledge from veterinarians, from co-op consultants, from other experts in the field than I ever did from a classroom. While the classroom is good at giving you a base knowledge, there's the unpredictability. This industry is always changing, and if you're not keeping up with it with someone who's been in it, who can, give you a history of the past too, because history does tend to repeat itself, whether it's in market prices, weather, what have you. It's always good to have someone who's been through it and can show you the ropes.